Hey, good morning, Jake. How are you?
Doing good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you so much. Hey, I'm just curious what the start of spring practice here has been like, and just some of the areas you've seen improvement in your game between the last time you were on the field and now.
Yeah. Spring practice. It's only my second spring ball that I've ever done here. So, yeah, we started it last week. Going, shoulder pads and helmets, and then getting the pads on after a while. But it's been a typical spring practice. Long. A lot of teaching, a lot of stuff like that. Kind of getting back to the basics, the fundamentals, things of that sort. But for me personally, I feel like I'm kicking the ball really well right now. I feel really good. I'm in a good spot right now to get some good work over the spring. I think the biggest thing for me, though, coming off this off season into spring ball is I just feel a lot. I feel a lot stronger. I feel a lot faster, like quick, more fit, which I know is going to translate to kicking in some way. So I'd say that's the biggest thing so far. But everything's going really well right now, man.
Let's go to Dave Eckert with Blue White Illustrated.
Hey Jake, how's it going?
Going on, man? How are you?
Doing good, thanks. On a personal level, I'm just wondering, everybody else aside, just for you, what's motivating you this spring? What's driving you?
I mean, I'd say this is probably the biggest one of, if not the biggest, off seasons for me and as a team. I think with what happened last year and the way that I personally performed, and the way that how things went overall. I think there's a lot of motivation and a lot of cleaning up and a lot of trying to fix mistakes and being uptight about everything. And I think that's going to hold me to a high standard. It's going to hold the team to a high standard to do better each and every time. And I think there's just there's always room for improvement. And last year, I think it just kind of made you realize how serious things need to be taken, for me at least, and how much better I need to be in the weight room, every workout, every practice. So I think there's just been a huge emphasis this whole offseason. Just trying to maximize every workout we have, every running session we have, all of it combined, and then just really get after it this spring.
Let's go to Donnie Collins, Scranton.
Hey Jake, it's kind of hard to believe that this is just your second spring practice. What kind of a comfort level do you think it's going to bring to you guys, considering that there's so many guys on the team who've never gone through one?
Yeah, I like I said, I don't. Obviously, there's new kids that just got here. They're still kind of getting their feet wet. They've been through the winter workouts, which I think were probably more of a shock and more of a what's going on moment to them than the spring ball and spring practices would be. But I think as a team, it's just getting those reps. It's just, like I said, getting back to the fundamentals, getting back to the basics, and then, just really trying to get better. I know everybody in practice is pushing each other every single day. The standards are high. The standards are really high right now, and everything is maximized. So I think, we got a lot of older guys too that, they may not have been as many spring balls or spring practices or whatever, but they've been around for a while, and they can help those younger guys kind of teach them, show them what's going on. And then, just as a whole team though, just, getting better every day, pushing each other, competing every single rep, every single moment, and really just trying to get something big out of the spring.
Let's go to Nubias Wilborn, Pittsburgh Post-Gazette.
Hey, thanks for the time, Jake. Hope you're doing well. With last season, how much of that did you go back and look over going into this season, and what did you glean from, kicks that didn't go your way or situations that didn't go away from last season?
Yeah, obviously there was some time to think about that. Not only as a team, but for me personally, like you mentioned, I just think it comes down to just me missing kicks. There were kicks last season and moments last season that, 10 times out of 10, I need to make, I do make, and that didn't happen last year. I thought about it. There's no real logical explanation, and it's not even an excuse. It's just not. I just didn't make those kicks, and some of them need to be made every single time, and that's my job. But at the end of the day, I think it just comes down to just me missing kicks and me, having to work on the little things this off season and getting back to the basics. And I think the biggest thing too is just me pushing myself harder than I ever have in every aspect of what we do here. And it's not just kicking, because I can go out and kick every single day. I think it's more of me taking advantage of every, rest, every treatment option, every, maintenance option, going in there, making sure my body feels right every day. In the weight room, trying to get as strong as I can, as flexible as I can, as fast as I can, in the best shape that I can every day. Doing all the things outside of the field too, I think, has been the biggest thing that I've tried to take away and implement into this offseason to help me next year. And so far, obviously it's been a week of spring ball, but so far, over the course of the winter and into spring ball, I can see a result. And then hopefully that's going to pay out next season. But, we got a whole spring to get after it and, just fix up the little things and, just do more, invest more.
Let's go to T. Frank Carr with BWI.
Hey, Jake, can you hear me?
Yep. Yeah, I can hear.
Hey, how you doing today?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing well. I want to ask you, because I don't think a lot of fans, and honestly, I don't know what goes into being a good kicker, what goes into being good at your position. To you, what's the most important aspect of consistency when it comes to kicking? Because I know you just talked about all the other stuff. What do you think it is that leads to that?
I think there's a lot of things that lead to it. I think a really important thing is just having routine and having something that no matter what's going on, you have a routine, you stick to the routine. It doesn't matter if I made 5 field goals the week before or I missed 5 field goals the week before. It's having a routine, not letting any outside influences affect that routine, and then just ultimately going out there and just the ability to zone everything out, shut everything out, stick to the routine. And, 9 times out of 10, the routine is it's gonna stick true to you, right? You got to go back to your training, trust your training. I think it's about sometimes it can be go out there and your mind's somewhere else, or you're not as tapped in or engaged as you'd like to be. Especially go out there and make some big kicks, but it's about sticking to a routine and not letting anything out there affect that or alter it in any way. I'd say that's the biggest thing: a mental routine, as well as a physical routine. So both of those.
Hey, Power, BWI.
Just to maybe piggyback on that, it felt like last year was the year of the routine being blown apart. Right? I'm just curious. I mean, how much have you guys collectively gotten used to COVID protocols, and how much have they evolved or maybe diminished a little bit as time has gone on?
It's at first. I mean, it's still a weird deal. And at first, when we came back in the summer, it was like a whole new world, right? Mask everywhere, everything, socially distant. Doing Zoom meetings for everything. It was weird, and I think it played a part on everybody. But I think now it's been a year, right, or about a year since all this kind of blew open. I think now it's kind of just like a normal thing. The Zooms, the like a mask. I feel is just. I look at someone without a mask right now, and I'm like, whoa, like sometimes it's just weird because you always see someone with a mask. So I feel like it's like normal now, and I feel like that's the same way about a lot of other things about COVID. And obviously things have changed and switched, and I think they're going to slowly head into a better direction right now, which is good. But I think it's kind of just normalized into our culture here at Penn State, and Coach Franklin does an amazing job, medical staff, everybody. Just making sure everybody is still keeping their guard up, not letting things just get lazy or lackadaisical with protocol and things like that. But I feel like definitely it's switched to more of like a normal thing as the time's gone on.
Let's go back to Donnie Collins.
Jake. I know. I think you and Jordan both last year said that you thought that the way it was going might have affected you guys less than other positions because you're able to work on your own in small groups and things like that. Do you think it went that way for you last summer? Do you think there were some things that didn't quite go as you pictured them going into the season, or was it about what you were expecting? Considering all the changes you had to go through.
Yeah, I mean the changes. I think it affected. It affects everything, and I think it affects everybody differently. But I think as a team, that's not in terms of last year. I don't think the struggles were there because of COVID per se. Obviously, you're missing players, and people test positive in the morning, they can't play, or you're out for 2 weeks. That definitely happens. That definitely plays some sort of role. But I think overall, as the season went on, I think there were just things that have to do with other than COVID. I think COVID plays a role still in some sort of way, no matter what way that is. But I think the biggest thing is that we have to get back to our old ways. We have to get back to and I'm not saying we were off that. It's just when you have something like that and you go through a year like that, I think it forces everybody to get better, and it forces everybody to take a step back and look at and realize what they have to do. For me and the specialist, obviously we're doing our own thing most of the time, but what happened last year, it affects all of us. We're not used to coming in the locker room at Penn State and after losing games and stuff like that. So, it was definitely a shock. It was definitely one of the hardest things that I've gone through as a player. And I know, could probably speak for most people. I would probably say the same thing for them. But I think it was really important because, it taught us a lot. It made us realize a lot. And I think it put a huge emphasis on this offseason. And so far, it's been amazing. So I think it was bad in a lot of ways, but it was good in the way that, it forces us to get better and come out and attack every day.
Let's go to New Bias.
I know earlier when you talked about playing the games but no crowds, that it wasn't going to have an impact. But going back in hindsight, when you look back, did it maybe go differently than you thought it would, with no noise, nothing in the background?
Yeah, it was obviously different. It was obviously different because you're in these big stadiums and it's quiet. And, some games there was no fans allowed, and some games there was. And even the games that they allowed fans, 200 people or whatever the number is out of a place that seats hundreds of thousands or 100,000 people, it's obviously different. But I don't that didn't affect the way that I played personally. I don't think it affected the way our team played. I think that's something else. Obviously, if you're running out of a tunnel and there's 100,000 people, you have a little bit, different view and a different, thing going on in your head or whatever you're feeling when you run out there. But I think, as a team, everybody, no matter what the game was, no matter if there was little fans or no fans, everybody was ready to play. We had a goal. We have a job to do. Everyone's job is to go out there and, win every rep and, go out there as a team and win the game. It was a different thing though. And, I don't think it contributed to anything other than, us doing anything that we don't normally do. I think we just, we have to do a better job at doing our jobs. And everybody's got to take a step back and see that. And I think everybody has and done an amazing job this offseason doing that. But yeah, the no fans there, it didn't affect the way we played. But yeah, there was obviously a little different feeling there with not as many people within the stadiums and stuff like that for sure.
Nate Bauer.
Jake, has anything changed with the 49 and in for you and 50 and out for Jordan? Like, do you see that as being a thing that will evolve, or is that pretty firm in place?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know per se. What's set in stone and not. Obviously, 2 years ago was like that. This year was like that. Um, like I said, I don't. I continue to kick as many field goals as I can. I know Jordan does the same. He's not kicking 55 yarders and 55 yarders only. He's working around the field at practice, and so am I. And I think I try to work on longer field goals in the off season too. Just making sure that 45, 50 yards, whatever is consistent as 30, 35 yards. I don't know per se those set in stone, but I'm just going out there and working on all parts of my kicking game, no matter if I'm doing it and I'm starting at it, or if I'm not. So that's some time away. What the coaches have to say about that, but personally, I'm just going out there and I'm trying to get all aspects of my game better.
T. Frank.
Hey, Jake, you mentioned earlier that being more physically fit, taking more advantage of all the resources around you, training and stuff like that would make you better this season. And we've heard that from a lot of players going into their junior or senior season in the past. What is it that leads to that light coming on to realize, the resources around you where maybe you didn't realize that before?
Yeah, I think it just comes with maturity. I think it comes with, being in this program for 3 years and, navigating all aspects of it or trying to and seeing the way other guys do things and, just trying new things out. We have a lot of resources here, an incredible amount of resources, an incredible amount of things to take advantage of as far as, a recovery standpoint, treatment standpoint, just other stuff that's just besides on the field. And, kicking especially, you can go out there and kick every single day, which I try to do. But there's got to be something else that you implement, to take that next step. And, I think I truly believe, being the best athlete I can be in the best physical shape I can be is going to translate to me being the best kicker that I can be in some way. I believe that. So, those are just things that I try to take advantage of. So, get my body right, have a good diet going on, staying healthy. And I also have goals for myself in the weight room and in workouts. I also have goals and standards that I want to achieve and do the best that I can do. So I think that was just a culmination of, being older, being more mature, and, realizing, other things that it takes to be good and be great.
Go to Audrey Snyder with The Athletic.
Hey, Jake. Obviously not your area of expertise, but I'm wondering if there has been a time this spring, this week into it, where maybe you're standing around at practice or between drills and you've gotten a look at this offense. What have you kind of seen? What stood out to you? Because obviously fans want to know about it and nobody has seen it yet.
Yeah. Obviously with Coach Yursich coming in, he brings a lot of fire, a lot of energy, a lot of fire. And from what I can see, the offense looks great. I talked to Sean and, all these other guys about the offense. They said they love it and they're ready to get after it. Really just, I think the biggest thing too is everybody has just been working incredibly hard this offseason. Obviously it's not an easy thing, learning new things and stuff like that. But I think everybody has worked incredibly hard. And I think that's kind of the culture here right now. And for the offense, it's been a huge part of it, whether that's walkthroughs all the time, meetings all the time, quarterback meeting. It's just been a huge emphasis this offseason. Everybody's been working really hard. And I think there's a lot of juice, a lot of competitiveness, and a lot of drive that the offense is looking for. And the offense is they're working really hard towards this offseason. So I, as a spectator, obviously, like you said, it's not my area of expertise, but from what I see, it looks like they're heading in a really good direction.
Mark Brennan, Fight on State.
Jake, what will it be like to have some level of fan support for that final spring scrimmage with, I guess they're letting the freshmen in, and do you allow yourself to think of what it'll be like in the fall if hopefully you're able to get back to where Beaver Stadium and all the other places have been?
Yeah. It's felt like forever since we played with some fans. So that's gonna be really awesome. No matter who's in the spring game or not, as long as there's fans there, obviously I'm not in the position to make that choice or anything like that. But the fact that there are people allowed to come and support, and for us to kind of build some hype up around and practice and play in front of, that's going to be awesome. And then just being in that atmosphere is going to hopefully translate and correlate to some full capacity. Hopefully maybe in the fall. So where we can get back to normal and, get back to playing games in front of 107,000 people and making Saturdays really, really big and really, really fun again.
Time for a couple more. Nate Bauer, go ahead.
Jake, obviously everybody's going to handle it differently. I'm just wondering how you have kind of processed the era of the transfer portal. Like, do you expect teammates to leave? Like, how have you kind of seen that in your career?
Yeah, obviously, I think, the transfer portal has been something that, as of the past, I don't know, year, maybe 2 years or whatever, that it's really kind of, you caught on. I think I don't know, there's a rule that you don't, I don't know. Anyway, it's just caught on the past year, 2 years, and it's crazy because, there's a lot of guys out there that are but there's kids out there that are doing it though for the right reasons, and there's people out there that have legitimate reasons as to, why I'm going to enter the transfer portal and what I'm going to do and what my plan is. And then I think there's other people out there that are just doing it because, it's just an easy way out, and it's just an easy way to get out and, go do something else. But, to each his own. I also think that, the people that do enter, as a teammate, and I have teammates that have entered it, those are my friends, and anything above all else, above all football and anything else like that. So I wish them the best luck. And, we've had players that do that, and they're grown men. They can make their own choices. And I personally, and I know as a team, as a staff here, whatever, everybody wishes them well too. So it's a weird ordeal. I mean, I haven't really thought too much about it, but I know the people that have entered it and the people that have came in, embrace them with open arms. Everybody has their own reasons for doing things. I don't think they're just doing things to do them. I think they're chasing something. So no, I wish whoever the best of luck, and people that we've brought in from the transfer portal, it's the same thing.
Last question, Dave Eckert.
Yeah, Jake, a lot of what you've said today has been about how driven you are based off of what happened last season. I'm just wondering if there's a balance to strike there. Maybe can you go over the top in that regard, or are you just full go as far as being on it all the time? Do you have to relax? Like, how do you balance that situation?
Yeah, obviously kicking a ball is different than being a quarterback where you have a little more time and things like that. And I think the biggest thing for me is using that extra time that I have as a specialist, especially to take advantage of everything that's out there. Take advantage of not just showing up to my lift at 11:30, showing up at 11, jumping in the hot tub and then going to lift. Maybe it's getting there at 10, talking to the trainers and stretching for an hour, doing maintenance for an hour, doing a workout, and then doing maybe another hour after. Just doing small things like that, and just trying to take advantage of everything we got here, to be the best that I can be. And I think obviously there is time for rest, and I get plenty of it, but I think it's just foot on the gas. It's been like that for me, and I feel like it's been like that for the team, like immensely this whole winter, and then it's going to carry on into the spring. I think it's a culture right now because everyone's pissed off at what happened in 2020, and everyone wants to do better, and everyone wants to have more. And the only way to do that is to change things and to ramp things up. And then I've been doing that, and I think as a team we've been doing that. And all spring, I know we're going to continue to do that.